basketball team hosted A10 opponent Davidson at the Mullins Center on Wednesday night. The team looked to combat a 20-point defeat against Duquesne the weekend prior. Here's our UMass women's basketball reporters with the story.
A Wednesday matinee for the UMass Minutewomen, they hosted the Davidson Wildcats in this A10 battle. Kim Pierre-Louis being introduced, she would have quite a historic night. She starts it off well, immediately receiving the opening tip-off and laying it in for 2 points. The Minutewomen scored early and often, maintaining the lead for the majority of the first half. It will be a memorable night for Davidson's Hannah Early, whose three-pointer in the first half put her over 1,000 career points. Who else will achieve such an accomplishment? You guessed it, Kim Pierre-Louis of the UMass Minutewomen scored her 1,000th career point on that mid-range jumper. UMass benefited greatly from Davidson's poor shooting performance and unorganized offense. They took advantage of many of Davidson's mistakes, like this Leah McDermott steal. UMass would take the game 60-49, securing their 10th win of the season.
So we're back for the women's basketball segment. I'm with Alana, Alongi, and Philip Sanzo, our beat reporters. So obviously we had a great game at the Mullins Center against Davidson. We just saw it in that highlight package, just a great game. Phil, I'm going to start out with you. Tell me a little bit about that game, and if you want to recap the VCU game as well.
Absolutely. What Davidson really did, what UMass did against Davidson is they took advantage of a lot of Davidson's mistakes. Davidson offensively was not very good at all. As you saw in the package, they missed a lot of shots. Were just very unorganized, and the men and women were able to take advantage of that and basically score the points they needed to win. In comparison to the VCU game, VCU is a much better team than Davidson. The VCU is in the middle of the standings of the A10, while Davidson's at the very bottom. So VCU is a much better defensive team. Offensively, the two games were similar for UMass. They actually, in both games, UMass had made 19 field goals. And so offensively, they were similar. It's just VCU is a much better team than Davidson was.
All right, well, I'm happy we got a win because we were on a little bad stretch there, but they definitely played well against that game against Davidson that you were at. So now the Minutewomen have 2 games remaining, Alana, and what is the biggest thing that they really need to focus on to finish off strong before they head into that A10 tournament?
I think the biggest thing really is they need to be better in the first half. Against VCU, they went 9 minutes without scoring, which I think is unacceptable as a D1 basketball team. So their shooting percentages continue to be low, and we know Kim Pierre-Louis, can score, but I think they need other players that can step up and, produce offensively. So I just think that coming out stronger in the first half, they can keep up with teams, especially Dayton coming up. They're the first in scoring in the A10, so it's going to be a really difficult game there. And hopefully, if they can just produce more offensively, they'll, be in better standing against them.
Well, if we go 9 minutes without scoring, I don't think they're going to play well against Dayton, who's the top offensive team in the conference. But as Alana said, they've really been really inconsistent offensively the entire year. So, Phil, what is the true identity of this team going forward? We're hoping for a little push here at the end.
To be honest with you, Chris, I don't even think the Minutewomen know who their identity is, and I feel that's a big reason for their lack of success. Offensively, they have scored a high of 85, and in other games they score a low of 41, and defense is the same way. They have given up a high of 77 and a low of 46. So they've been very inconsistent, and I don't think they really know who they are, and I feel that's led into their lack of success.
Well, we're hoping to see some more consistency going forward in these next 2 games, especially with the A10 tournament coming up. We want to see them in that tournament, the NCAA tournament going forward. But thank you, guys.
Thanks.
We'll be right back, and we'll be talking women's lacrosse. They're starting out real hot. Stay tuned.